It's that time of year again when you say goodbye to your free time, assemble all your school supplies, and begin your journey into the world of architecture and design. To those few who have chosen this path, good luck, because it sucks. Architecture school is really different from other faculties simply because of the nature of what is being taught. Design. Combine that with a competitive environment, add an excruciating time limit on your projects and deadlines, and add the crushing volume of knowledge that is available to you. You get the crucible that is architecture and the bane of your existence, studio. It will take up a lot of your time and a lot of your mental bandwidth, and it sucks. But you don't. These aren't tips or productivity hacks I'm about to tell you, but realizations that I had that made my time in school a lot less insufferable. I'll list these as you would probably experience them over the course of a semester. But before we start with these points, we should talk about one thing: studio. What makes architecture so different from other faculties is studio. Unlike other courses, studio takes up a big chunk of your weekly schedule. There isn't homework that comes out of studio per se, but more so projects. It's commonplace that you are given a task or a prompt. One could be design a home using geometric shapes. Another one could be as large as design a photo archive museum. Or another one could be design an apartment that solves the housing crisis. And from these tasks or prompts, you will certainly be expected to present your ideas and solutions in front of a panel of usually architectural professionals. It will take up most of your time. It'll take up a lot of your time. But from it, you'll get this laboratory to experiment and explore ideas in. You'll get a chance to develop your designer's intuition. And the best part is you'll get to design without a lot of real-world repercussions or constraints. Studio can be incredibly stressful because there's so much importance put on it. And because so much importance is put on studio, other courses usually fall by the wayside or act as supplementary courses to studio. It all sounds terrible, but the nature of designing around your peers and discovering your own self-expression is what makes it truly memorable. This sense of discovery and being around your peers is what I want to talk about first though. So the first realization that I had is don't be competitive, be collaborative. The first thing you'll probably experience is that when you arrive, everyone's a little competitive. And the reason is most likely you've gone through some sort of selection process. And depending how prestigious the school, you may have been chosen amongst an already very talented group of people. I remember that I wanted to prove myself when I got to school, but this ended up being very detrimental to how I developed as a designer. The best part about studio is being able to discover new ways of solving a problem, expanding your catalog of ideas, and developing your design instincts amongst your peers. My best studio projects is when I asked for someone's honest input, or I allowed myself to show my process to other people. Like, for example, my thesis was in the toilet for so long, and it wasn't until the last few months when a friend came up to me and showed me their favorite cemetery. Yes, my thesis was about a modern day cemetery. But my friend showing me his favorite cemetery was able to inform my project. I was able to design better and present something that I was happy with. So, Ace, if you're ever watching this, and I hope you never discover that I have a YouTube channel, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. Working with your peers can have so many benefits, but it'll also bring up the next realization you'll probably have, which is making sure to understand your peers. Understanding that you are part of a diverse student body is an important realization you're going to have through your first semester. This discovery made me realize that my peers had strengths and specializations that I could learn from. Some people were incredible at photography and they helped me with my portfolio. Some people were amazing model builders and they would offer tips that I wouldn't listen to because I hate model building. And others had this amazing ability for graphics that would make their pinups stand out. Understanding your peers' backgrounds and how they can help you can enrich your experience at school. But there's another thing to understand as well. There is an incredible diversity to how much people are going to put in effort and time into studio. Some people enjoy working at studio 24/7. Other people enjoy working at studio, then going home for the evening. And others really prioritize a work-life balance. I think the point I'm trying to make is that you have a choice to make for yourself. What kind of school experience do you want? And if you're going to compare your projects to other people who invest more time in studio than you, you're going to have a bad time. Understanding your peers can not only help your projects, but it can help reduce the amount of stress you have for school. And one thing about your peers is that they'll help you realize this next point. learn the programs. As you start engaging with schoolwork, you'll find that there are a lot of programs that you need to learn. This may include AutoCAD, Revit, Rhino, V-Ray, Photoshop, Illustrator. Taking the time to learn these programs can have massive implications on the quality of work you produce. However, AI has arrived. Personally, I encourage any architecture students to see how they can use AI in their work. AI is incredible at developing ideas and iterating on designs that you can build off of. And it can give you time back in work-life balance, or it can allow you to focus on another task. I highly encourage you to do so, but there is a caveat to this. I want to stress that while AI is incredible at what it does, it has two shortcomings. The first being that it's not industry standard yet. If you try to apply it to a job and your whole portfolio is AI work, you're going to have a tough time. Secondly, AI has this habit of creating very detailed renders of buildings. The more detail you show in your renders, the more the panel has the ability to ask you questions about it. So if you present something and a critic asks you about a specific detail, and your only answer is, well, AI did that, it doesn't look that great. But it's all to say that AI does some things fantastic, and I think everyone should incorporate it in their workflow. Just be wary of how much detail you are opening yourself up to and making sure that you learn the programs that are still industry standard. I think the best thing about AI is that it gives you time back in your day. And this brings up the next realization. Don't panic. Prioritize. We can all agree that time management is a popular tip across any program. The workload for any faculty can be overwhelming, and particularly for architecture school because of one thing: iteration. Architecture school is an iterative process, and if you manage your time well, you can explore many design options and refine your ideas before you present them. Because so much time is invested in researching, exploring ideas, and finding inspiration, you'll find that time constraints is a big factor in architecture school. Something to learn, especially as you approach presentations and pinups, is that you do not have enough time present a fully detailed building ready for construction. So rather than panic about showcasing a complete building, prioritize the important things. How does your project show well? Does your project show well in plan? Is there a key section that showcases the essence of your design? Is there a diagram that showcases the process clearly? Managing your deadlines is important, and allotting enough time for inspiration, research, exploration is something everyone learns during architecture school. But knowing when to stop and refine what you have is an important skill. And it brings up my last point. Know when enough is enough. Design can be endless. You can keep on iterating, designing, and trying to perfect any project you work on. If it wasn't for deadlines, I don't think any of my projects would see the light of day. But a big thing architecture school taught me was understanding when I had to stop the process and present to others what I had. Knowing when you have enough to present your idea in studio goes a very long way. But something I learned from my peers is looking beyond architecture school. What else did I want to do? Should I join an extracurricular to expand my network? Should I work part-time to get a foothold in a firm that I wanted to work at? Or did I want to work on my portfolio to apply to jobs after I graduate? I found that after 7 years of architectural education, I changed my priorities. It went from performing well at school to using studio and other courses to build up my portfolio so that I could have an opportunity to apply to jobs after I graduated from my master's. Understanding the commitment needed for school and the importance in the pursuit, what comes after, is something all architectural students learn. It's coming to terms with knowing when enough is enough and being satisfied with the fact that architecture school sucks, but you don't. So thanks for following along, consider subscribing, and if you're starting your architectural journey today, best of luck.